welcome to my channel, and also welcome to the first edition of Multichrome Monday, which is a series that I will be starting. And I will try to post a multichrome review every Monday from a different brand, and if it's not every Monday, it will be every other Monday. So if you are multichrome obsessed like I am, or you're just really curious about multichromes, then definitely tune in. So I have other multichrome videos on my channel already. I have 6 looks with Cliona jeweled multichromes from their stained glass collection, and then I also have 12 swatches of their jeweled multichromes. So I will link those down below. I've also have a pretty old video of Dawn Eyes Cosmetics just using one shade for one look. And I also have a video comparing some of my multichromes, whether loose or pressed, just swatching them and comparing the shades and the shifts, and kind of talking about the formulas a little bit. So I do have a multichrome playlist for you to check out if you would like, which I will link down below because that's going to be the easiest to really access all these videos. So today we'll be talking about the Looxi Beauty Mayhem multichrome collection, which consists of 5 multichromes. And I feel like it's becoming a lot more common for indie brands to come out with pressed multichromes. Sydney Grace has, Davina, Baby Bat Beauty, and Tara Moon also, and Touch of Glam. So there's so many brands coming out with multichromes, and I'm just really curious about how these formulas differ, because also the prices differ quite a bit from brand to brand. So I will be kind of comparing them to Cliona for now, because that is what I have up on my channel, and that kind of has been setting the standard for me for pressed multichromes because they are such high quality. So I will just be comparing these because they are a much varied price. So I think it will be really good and informative for anybody who is interested in dipping their toes in some multichromes. So I will be doing eye swatches just like Cliona, using the same ColourPop flat brush and also the same Makeup Revolution cut crease canvas and Illustrate, not setting it, and just going in and doing eye swatches of all of these. And as I go, I'm going to be talking about each of the shades in depth, so make sure you do not miss that. And then at the end of this video, I'm just gonna kind of sum up my thoughts overall on all the colors. Also forgot to mention, but this time around I'll be using my DSLR camera, not like previously. In my Cliona eye swatch video, I ended up switching to my Sony mirrorless because I felt like that one captured the shift. I figured out how to capture the shift with my DSLR, so I will be using my DSLR camera. But now let's get into the swatches. So the first shade I will be swatching is Invictus. And again, I'm using the same ColourPop flat brush and the cut crease canvas that I used in the Cliona eye swatch video. And I'm going to be doing the same exact shape. I had a little trouble applying this one. I'm used to able to just kind of swipe it on and do the shape, but this one I had to first pack it onto the lid and then try and make the rest of the shape, which the wing was especially hard because it did end up turning gray on me. And this one difference I noticed right off the bat compared to the Cliona is with those I didn't notice a black base in them. I never had that issue of it blending into gray. So for this I had to work around this a little bit, but in the end I was able to get it on evenly. And this one has definitely a very strong shift despite its black base, so once you apply it, I think the tapping on helped a lot. And Invictus has a magenta, green, gold shift. The gold is a kind of like an in-between, but the main shift is from the pink to the green. The next shade is Rebellion. This one also had quite a bit of a black base that I could notice. Tapping it on versus swiping definitely also works on this one the best. This one seems pretty dense in the pan, and I had to dip back quite a bit. And this one I feel like has a very strong shift in the pan, but it kind of got dulled down on the eye. This one in the pan has a very strong shift from red to gold, but like a goldish green with an orange yellow in between, and just a little bit of orange. Next shade is Outlaw. This one felt very silky right off the bat. Very easy to glide on, didn't have to do as much packing. Definitely seemed like it had less of a black base and just had absolutely no issues. And this one has a really strong shift in it as well. The main shift that I see in this, like a golden greenish bronze to a really nice deep forest green. On the website it says there's a gold, orange, yellow, brown, blue, green, teal. And I don't really see the blue. Maybe it's the lighting, maybe like different lighting, but I don't really see it. I really heavily just see the gold, orange, maybe some yellow, and mostly green. Now on to Vicious. This one seems much less metallic than Outlaw on the eye, just right off the bat. And it just seems like it's much duller. The shift is less obvious, and this one was harder to apply. It seemed like there was quite a bit of a black base, and it kind of crumbled in the pan, and just putting it on, I had quite a bit of fallout, and I had to dip back in a bunch of times. This one has the strongest shift from purple to a nice blue. And that is kind of what you see mostly on the lid. I don't really see the other shades that they're talking about on the website. On the website it says a blue, purple, red, orange, bronze super shifter. That is not really something I noticed. I don't really see that in the pan. It's really mostly a very strong shift from purple to blue. And lastly, there's Anarchy. And this shade was super silky, just like Outlaw, very easy application. Seemed like there was less of a black base, didn't really have that blending out to gray issue like I did with Invictus and Rebellion. And this one has a very clear, strong shift on the lid. And this one has a deep purple, teal, blue kind of shift. Online it says a purple, brown, red, blue, green, teal super shifter. Again, don't really see the brown red. It's really just mostly like the purple, teal, maybe a little bit of that green, but I don't think you'll be able to see all of those on the lid. But the shade is really nice. I really love how it applied. And those were the 5 swatches of the Mayhem collection from Looxi. Now let's get into my thoughts. So number one, something I noticed with these is they have, for the most part, most of them have quite a bit of a black base, which is probably why they are cheaper in price than Cliona. I think that means that there's more of the black base and less pigment. I might be completely wrong, but that's just from what I've noticed. I had to pat these on a little bit by little bit because swiping it on just ended up showing the grayness that's in the shadow, and it just lost the pigment. There was not enough pigment to keep it going, while for example Cliona, I was able to swipe these on no problem. I don't remember at all seeing any grayness. Maybe if I tried to blend them out, but just swiping them on my eyelid, I didn't notice any grayness, but that doesn't mean that they are bad. Something I also highly recommend is using a sticky base. I love my Fernet Pixie Epoxy, for example. Not necessarily a glitter glue, something like thin and watery that just like gets tacky and then dries down. And I had a lot of fallout within just like 5 minutes of blinking and looking around. I did not set my base, but I really don't think it would have made that much of a difference, especially having hooded eyes. So I definitely recommend using a tacky base that dries down to really lock these shades in. And I do that with any multichromes, regardless of the brand, regardless if they're loose or pressed, really either way. There's 3 out of the 5 shades that I thought had the strongest shift, and that's Invictus, Anarchy, and Outlaw. I wrote down notes as I was putting them on just so I could make sure I would remember during the voiceover. Outlaw and Anarchy were very silky. They remind me very much of Cliona. They were really easily applied and they had a very strong shift. And because of that, they seemed to have a lot less of a black base. And even when I like kind of started running out and had to dip back in, they didn't really get too gray, which happened to me with Invictus. And while that shade has a very strong shift, it seems to have more of a black base, so it was harder to apply and it blended out to that gray. And so it wasn't silky like Outlaw and Anarchy, but overall those had the strongest shifts. Rebellion has a very strong shift in the pan, but once you apply it, it seemed to kind of dull down. It was a little harder to see. While it was definitely noticeable that there was a shift, it just didn't have that like high metallic shine like Outlaw and Anarchy, for example. And then Vicious definitely dulled down on the eyes, lost a lot of that metallic effect like Anarchy and Outlaw. And that one also I had issues of it kind of crumbling when I went in with the brush. That one had lots of fallout and I had to kind of dip back a lot to really build it up because it did have quite a bit of that black base. So those are kind of my overall thoughts. I will be doing like a comparative video between all the pressed multichromes from the brands some other points, so I will not be doing any comparative swatches in this video. That will be coming at some point, which will be quite an endeavor as you can imagine, but totally worth it. Something else I wanted to mention was a couple weeks ago I did do a full look with the shade Invictus from this collection, and when I started to apply it with a brush like I always do on top of the Pixie Epoxy, it was just, all I saw was black base. It was really gray and muddy and I lost all the pigment, so I ended up having to use my finger to put it on, which is something I personally hate. I hate using my fingers for any kind of shade, metallic, anything. But I'm not sure, it might have been that the Fahrenheit epoxy wasn't fully kind of semi-set and tacky and perfect for the application, so I'm gonna have to be trying that out and I'll let you know. But that is something that I noticed that was kind of a downside, because I do use that all the time with other shadows with no problem whatsoever. So I might, you know, test that out. Maybe I'll try a different primer or something. But I do have to do some full looks with them to kind of fill them out just a little bit more. But I think these eye swatches were really good to compare to each other, and then also to compare to, which is kind of, let's be honest, set the bar for multichromes really. But overall, I think this is a great collection. It's a great price value, and I think if you're interested in multichromes, this is a good option. I would recommend Outlaw and Anarchy if you really want to see that strong shift. And then Rebellion and Vicious, I think you could try them if you wanted to, but I think if you really want to see a strong shift and the effect on your eyes, I think that Outlaw and Anarchy were the easiest to use and had the strongest shift and just were really silky and smooth and easy. So I definitely recommend those for you to at least start trying out and dip your toes into those multichromes. I hope this video was helpful to you, and if you enjoyed it and found it helpful and you love multichromes, then I would love it if you subscribed and give this video a thumbs up, because I have lots of multichrome content coming up for you. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.